Well, this is really amazing.
One of my creations, sort of.
Sort of. It's another kit from R Duck Locomotive Works.
It is. This was the second portion. I did the caboose first, and then I started on this, and I was like, woo-wee.
This is a lot more complicated than the caboose, and I thought the caboose was complicated enough.
Right.
But wow. But it is one of my favorite things in the whole world, and that's a pre-1870 440 American locomotive.
Well, and ever since I was a real little girl, I've had an infatuation with this type of locomotive. I don't even know why. But when I was about 3 or 4 years old, I developed a love for I called them a choo-choo train when I was little. But I always wanted one. I wanted a locomotive and a tender and the track, and I used to tie things onto my tricycle and make my own train. That's how crazy I was about it. How many of you guys did stuff like that? Guys and gals.
I put track all the way around the backyard, which was just a swatch where I tore the grass out. Mom wasn't very keen. But I could pull my wagon around and my brother's wagon and string them together, and that was a train.
Yeah, I had my tricycle and a cardboard box and my little red wagon, and that was my train.
Similar minds.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, this being a R Duck, again, R Duck Locomotive Works does laser cut wood
Right,
kits.
this one is another wood model, and it's all made out of wood. And again, just like the caboose, I got carried away and painted this whole thing. And of course, I love cars and rat fink, so it's got pinstripes.
Boy, does it have
It has pinstripes on the stack, and the wheels are painted in a hot rod fashion. The pilot, which just gave me kittens, putting that together out of wood, but it's also pinstriped. and yes, that smoke coming out of the chimney, that's a trick I've learned, using a little swatch of cotton and pulling it up out of there. But yeah, just fun to build this. And this is named, if you notice the name on the tender, is called the Sanpete Valley Railway. And this is tied in again with the Marysville branch. I'm going to read just really quick about what it was. And this is from my home area of central Utah, right in the middle of Utah and a little bit south of there. And it says the original Sanpete Valley Railway was established in May of 1882. It was originally built as a 3-foot narrow gauge railroad that was chartered to move coal from Manti, Utah to Nephi, Utah. The Sanpete Valley Railway was sold to Denver and Rio Grande Western Railway in 1908 and became the D and RGW's Marysville branch. The line was finally completed and abandoned in the spring of 1983 when it was destroyed by a catastrophic flood in Thistle Canyon. The whole mountain in Thistle Canyon slid off and just tore up the track. They decided not to put it back in.
Here's a link to that entire
that
story.
That whole story.
Yeah, because it's an amazing story.
Oh, man. Yeah, 1983, that really affected my ability to get to and from work.
Affected, it shut down highway systems. The Denver and Rio Grande was completely shut down. They had to run over the Union Pacific track.
Right.
And it ended the Rio Grande Zephyr.
Right.
So, wow.
Yes.
Yeah, it was catastrophic. It was catastrophic.
So this little locomotive is named in honor. Now, they were coal burners, all of the ones on the Sanpete Valley Railway. This is a wood burner, but I happen to like the diamond stack out of all of them the best. I just love the style of it. But this is an honorary locomotive.
Now, this is just me, you know, but I wonder about a wood-burning locomotive that's entirely made of wood.
Well, I went overboard, you see. Now, these R Duck Locomotive Works trains come on a plywood grid like so. That was part of this guy. And I thought, well, it didn't come with a wood load. And I always grew up, you know, waste not, want not. And so I wanted a wood load. So this wood load is made from pieces of the tree that it came on.
Complete with laser burning.
Looks like the bark on the log.
When you said you were going to do that, I thought...
You thought I was nuts.
Seriously? No, it turned out great. That was a grand idea.
Right. Well, and I went overboard. Of course, there's smoke in the chimney, but I also have a fire in the firebox. All these little parts work. The little door on the burner, it opens and closes. And you know, I probably should have held off on painting this first. I kind of learned a lesson, but the gear works on these.
The valve gear,
gear, everything.
The slide rods, everything works.
Everything works. This is a little tight because I need to run it more often. But it does turn.
Yeah, it does.
And so they actually work. On the tender, where you put the water in, it opens and closes. And I did put a fire in the firebox.
And that blows my mind because I'm looking in there and it's like, no, there's a fire in the firebox.
There's a fire in the firebox. But what I used, again, just when you have these things, let your imagination run wild. I'm like, what can I put in there that looks like a fire? Well, this Tinsley pipe cleaner, you know, people use it for arts and crafts. I picked a red one and I picked a yellow one. Because if you turn this, bend it up, well, there's your flames right there. And so I just bent up a little horseshoe piece of this one and then the red in the middle, the same thing. And there's your fire right there. It twinkles and catches the light and looks just like a fire burning in the wood box.
Yeah, I mean, you glance in here and it's like, no, it's lit. It's twinkling, and it's like, no, we don't need no stinking DCC.
Just by pipe cleaner.
Just by pipe cleaner, because boy, is that effective. That looks so good.
Well, in a wooden locomotive where it doesn't technically run, there's no batteries, no batteries included. Why not? Just like I say, let your imagination run wild.
And that has been an issue that some people have said, maybe, you know, you should motorize these kits and stuff. And it's like, well, no.
Well, yeah, I think it's more fun. If you build these right, and like I say, I need to run this a little bit more, push it around or whatever. But if I imagine in a naturally painted state, and the advice I got from Tripp, who's the proprietor of R Duck Locomotive Works, that if you put a little lubricant on like a little Vaseline or something on the little bearings, they got these little teeny wooden bearings, that it will go better. So I plan on building another one of these and just leaving it in the natural wood state.
Yeah, they make two different 440s. Mm-hmm. This one and one they call the Juno.
Right.
And
this one's Anatus.
Anatus, yeah. And it said Anatus on the side until you changed it.
Well, and I wanted to change it. Like I say, I'm honoring my homeland in some respects with Karyn's caboose and the Marysville branch. And I thought, well, why not do this the Sanpete Valley Railway?
And then it matches your caboose.
That's right. And then I still need my passenger car.
Yes. Tripp, if you want to do it.
If you're listening.
You know, 1865, I don't know, 1870, somewhere like right in there, seats, passenger car. Yeah.
I have some velour if you have the time. Stained glass windows. Chandeliers.
Mm-hmm. Now, one of the things that you've done that, because some of the people were shown pictures to, it's like, oh, how did you fill the wood and make it smooth? And you know, no, this is explain what you did here.
Well, on this one, I just used printer paper from the computer. I went online and just printed off what I wanted. Some of it I've had to print off and you know, improvise a little bit. Like 52 was the number of one of the Sanpete Valley Railway cars, but I had to painstakingly cut out these letters and fill in around. This is just all printed off the computer and just cut it. You have to scale it to fit. And I used Mod Podge. This is my Mod Podge. For you hippie people out there that remembers this from high school and you had a poster you just loved, or you like doing ceramic work with Holly Hobby and stuff, use Mod Podge. It's kind of like a liquid Elmer's glue. It has a unique fragrance. I'll never forget the smell of that. I just use a brush and lightly apply it to the wood, and then cut these out ahead of time, and just like you're wallpapering a wall, just smooth it around and it stays right on there.
One of the things I love about this one, I think it comes in a gloss as well.
This is gloss, and you can get it matte and semi-gloss. And some that cracks. Don't get the one that cracks.
It has just the perfect finish. It's just the right matte finish that looks really good on
Right. And then the tops, of course, the other one, all I did to hide the wood marks on the top if you're going to paint. This one I used some of your gaff tape. But what I did on the caboose was I just used printer paper off from just like you put in your printer, and cut it to size, and just again applying with a brush the Mod Podge over the wood, and then carefully just put the paper over it, let it dry, and then you can paint it, and it just looks fine. Yeah,
we love using it's a cloth gaff tape. You can look on Amazon for gaff tape, but in a large scale it looks so much like the canvas roofing materials that they used to use on the early trains, and
it's wonderful.
And it sticks on there. It's just because it's tape, it's adhesive, and you just stick it on there.
And the same thing with my pinstripes here. I haven't got that steady of a hand on this stack. I just found some pinstripes, looked for rat fink or something on the computer with it. Looks like it would work. And again, print it about the size you need it, and then just size it and trim it down with an X-Acto knife and more Mod Podge and just glue it right on there. Same with this trim piece up here. Just cut it to fit, Mod Podge, and glue it right on there.
Perfect. Now there's a trick that you did here that I really like, and that's typical of laser cut wood kits. Everything's flat.
Oh, I was a little bit bothered by that.
Sometimes flat just doesn't look right. So
I'm a little bit OCD, and sometimes the flat just. So one of the things I did was with the bell, I used my dad's wood carving tools and just kind of blended it so it was kind of more rounded instead of squared off. And then the whistle, I just reshaped the whistle because it was just a little flat whistle, and so I put 2 halves of a dowel, glued that on with some crazy glue or your.
And it's a balsa wood dowel,
yes,
so it's easy to
shape.
It's
easier to cut and shape. And just glued each half on either side and then cut a little slot in for the whistle. And I painted that. But I imagine I'm going to try that when I get the new wood model and just leave it wood. But I coat it really good, the balsa wood, with some crazy glue and let it dry because it makes it really hard. And then you can about shape it any way you want.
Let's talk about the trickiest thing on the kit, the pilot.
That gave me, if I was going to have kittens, I had them during that part. But this pilot, if you get this model, it's a bit of a trick, just to be kind about it. And you will struggle with that. Now, he does offer spare parts, and he included some spare parts, but that's all very fine wood, and if you push the least little bit trying to fit those tabs together, it will break. So I end up gluing that together with the super watery, fine, thin, crazy glue. And what I found sometimes with that is if you pre-glue it and use the kicker on it, it makes it a little bit harder, so it takes a little more abuse before you push on it. And even then, you're going to have to be really careful.
Yeah, because sometimes the wood is porous enough that the really thin CA glues will soak right in, and then before you're working with them, you'll find that you have a much stronger piece of wood. And then after you break it, you have to glue it again anyway.
Right, exactly. And that's what I did here. I broke just about every piece except for a couple, and then even the spare ones that he gave me. But with the CA glue, I was able to glue those little pieces back together. And of course, when I painted it, I sanded it a little bit so you can't quite tell. There's a few imperfections. But
it looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, but I imagine the pilot's got kind of bent up anyway on those in time.
Well, they were there for a purpose, and that was to kick stuff off the track.
And this one looks like it's been doing just that.
So when you see pilots on locomotives, a lot of times they look like they've been kicking rocks and sheep and who knows what off the track. And yeah,
And then I included also my own little builder's plate. It says 2023, so I remember what year it was built. And again, the light in the front, it doesn't work. It comes with its own little chimney and everything, but I had a little piece of jeweler's glass. I do jewelry creations, and that little piece, that little dome-shaped piece just fits, so I put that in there.
It looks so good.
Yeah. Painted it and made it look like there's kind of a light on in there too.
And it does.
Yeah, it's close.
I was blown away with that. That turned out really nice.
Well, these are just so much fun to build. And like I say, you can leave them in their natural wood state, just build them as is. Or you can do like I do and just look at a thing and let your imagination run wild. I even put a little cable for the bell that ran through into the cab. Oh, looks like I lost it came off.
It's just on a little hook.
Yeah, if it's on a hook, it can be fixed. Here we go.
Here's tweezers.
Okay, Surgeon General, here we go.
Surgeon General going in for the quick fix here.
Yep, it's just on a hook, so I can dismantle it if I have to, but I want the bell able to ring. There we go.
Fireman's got to do something other than shovel 6 tons of wood.
That's right, 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
I think for the fireman, the joy would be after throwing all that wood or shoveling all that coal as you're pulling into the station, you could go ding, 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 ding. That's the reward.
Absolutely. Well, the reward is building one of these, and you're looking at it and going, "Hey, that's finished now. That's
so
fun.
neat.
I want to build another one."
And we'll be starting.
Oh, absolutely.
Pretty soon.
Pretty soon. We've got another one ordered, and it's coming pretty soon. And we'll leave that one natural wood and just see what we can do with that one as natural wood, so everybody can
We'll
see.
let you see what you can do with that one. This is
well,
your
if
project.
I do, it's going to end up painted with a wood load. Yeah, you never know with me.
Wonderful. Well, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, it would be really nice if you would click on the upcoming subscribe button. If you're watching without being a subscriber, A, you're not being notified when we upload a movie.
You never know what that'll be.
B, it sort of messes up the whole YouTube algorithm thing deal that you know, everything works better if you click on the subscribe button and then set your notification bell. And then while you're at it, if you click the like thing, all of these things inform the algorithm that not only did you like it, but that other people are going to like it too, and then it gets recommended.
There you go.
And the easy way to subscribe, are we ready for it?
It's easy.
Zoink! Right there, the blue button that will make you a subscriber. Well, we're not sure how you found this video on the internet. We hope you didn't find it boring, and we will see you here on Tuesday. With some stuff we're building. We'll see you then.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.